It's been 7 long years since my last visit to South Africa. A lot has happened in these past 7 years. You know, when I first came to Africa for the very first time, that was back in 2005, I was Minister of Education for the Honorable Marcus Garvey's Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League. And so I'm in Philadelphia at the African American Museum. And me and Dr. Julius Garvey, the younger son of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, we're both speaking at an exoneration program to try and get Marcus Garvey's charges, the unfair and unjust charges levied upon him by J. Edgar Hoover and the American FBI. We were trying to get those removed. And there was a brother by the name of Ezekaway from Washington, D.C. And he approached me at the end of the program and he said, "Have you ever been to Africa?" I said, "No, I'm overdue." He said, "You need to go to Africa." And at the time, we had some UNIA divisions in Africa who were a little discontented with the parent body in America because we weren't reaching out and connecting with them and doing work with them and pulling them into the red, black, and green struggle. And so I came to Africa for 30 days and 30 nights by myself, July 2nd to August the 1st of 2005. I'm bringing this up because I came in through Ethiopia, and I was in Ethiopia for about 2-3 nights. That was my first time setting foot on African soil. And my second location was South Africa, and I spent the week here, my first time on the continent. So South Africa is very special to me because it's one of the first places that I came to when I came back home to Africa 18 years ago. Now, I've been all over since then. It's been a long 18 years. And as I stand before you now, I bring a message of solidarity and unity from your brothers and sisters in the United States, from New York to Texas, from California to DC, from Maryland to Alabama, from Mississippi to Georgia. I bring solidarity from your brothers and sisters in the Caribbean islands, from Jamaica to Haiti, from Turks and Caicos to Bermuda, from the Bahamas all the way over to St. Croix and St. Lucia, and even your brothers and sisters in South America, Brazil, and Suriname, and all the places in between. Brothers and sisters, I'm a Pan-Africanist. Many of you are Pan-Africanists. One of the greatest Pan-Africanists of all time from South Africa, Robert Sobukwe, near and dear to my heart in the Pan-Africanist Congress. You understand, I love Robert Sobukwe and the work that he did pushing the Pan-Africanist movement. And brothers and sisters, we have to make Pan-Africanism not only the philosophy and the ideology, we now have to make it the movement that it needs to be. There must be hands across the Atlantic Ocean. Yes, I come back to you with the blood of the slave in me, the blood of the Nigerian slave and the Ghanaian slave, the blood of the Cameroonian slave and the Congolese slave, the blood of the Togolese slave and the Benin slave. I come back over the water with the spirit of my ancestors to say that we are one African people. We are but one. And in order for us to overcome the oppression of white supremacy, in order for you here in South Africa to reclaim ownership of the vast resources of your country, we must first operate in a spirit of oneness. Because although apartheid fell in 1994, I would dare argue that what fell was not apartheid, but the illusion of the falling of apartheid. Brothers and sisters, when I read the South African Constitution, it bothers me to read that the Constitution of South Africa says South Africa belongs to everybody who lives in it. I know of no other country where a thief or an invader or a colonizer can come and steal and rob and then be welcome to stay as a member of the family. I never heard of that. What good is a flag and an anthem if we don't control the resources? What good is a vote in a democracy when the diamonds are not mine, the oil is not mine, the gold is not mine? Brothers and sisters, please don't fall for the illusion of European democracy. If voting could change your reality, voting would be illegal. In America, they have brainwashed us into worrying about who gets elected. Whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's Joe Biden, it doesn't matter. Because no matter who we vote for, the resources remain in the hands of the white power structure. One day, and it may not be tomorrow, it may be years from now, it may be decades from now, but there will have to be a second revolution in African soil to undo the mistakes of the first revolution. I would hate for any more blood to be shed. I would hate for you to have to go through what you went through in bringing about the demise of apartheid. But because of bad deals made by African people in secret rooms with white people, because of deals that were cut without your knowledge, the victories that we thought we got in South Africa, we did not get them. And so one day there has to be another revolution. Not just South Africa, but Nigeria. Not just Nigeria, but Ghana and the Congo, all over the continent. Because everything we won in war, we gave back in negotiations. Now, I dare say, as I speak with some of my brothers and sisters in South Africa, some of them like to step on the name of Madiba Nelson Mandela. I look at it a little differently. I do not put Nelson Mandela in a category with Barack Obama because young Nelson Mandela did fight for his people. Young Nelson Mandela was ready to give his life for his people. I understand the older Nelson Mandela was compromised. But I blame you more than him because we had no business taking an elder 27 years in prison and thinking he's going to pick up where he left off 27 years later. That was on us. We cannot have a cult of personality. No one man is greater than the community. No one woman is greater than the community. We have to get out of the mindset, the Jesus Christ mentality, not the religion, but the belief that one Savior is going to save all of Africa. No, the people will save South Africa. I miss sitting where you sit. I remember the days of being a child where all you got to do is get up and take a bath and eat and have fun and go to school. But once you get through high school next year, now you got to pay bills. Gas bill and water bill and cell phone insurance. And one day you're going to get married and have children and you got to pay for their education and pay for their protection. Life is responsibility. And the only way you're going to have a comfortable life is if you prepare yourself economically for those responsibilities. What is minimum wage in South Africa? Minimum wage.
3.5.
3,000 rand.
3,000 rand per
month.
3,000 rand per month. You cannot live off of that. 3,000 rand per month is nothing. In America, minimum wage is $8.75 an hour. How are you going to pay your rent, pay your car, feed yourself, feed your children, take care of your wife, take care of your husband, keep a roof over your head on 3,000 rand a month? You can't. That means what? Get ready for the university. Get ready for trade school. Get ready for business school. You got to get ready, but some of you are sabotaging your future because you're not doing your work right here, right now. They're going to see all your grades. You think you're getting over because you're being pushed through school? You think you're getting over because you got pushed through 9th grade and didn't do no work? You got pushed through 10th grade, didn't do no work? You're getting pushed through 11th grade, not doing no work? When you get to the university, they're going to give you a placement test. And if you don't score high enough on that placement test, you might not go to the university. Stop thinking you're getting over. The only person you're cheating is yourself. The last thing I want to talk about is knowledge of self as African people. You know the history of apartheid. I don't have to give it to you. I'm sure you heard of the history of the civil rights and black power struggle in America. I don't have to give it to you. There's white people all over this world, and they think the world belongs to them. We are African people. We are God's first people. We are the oldest people. We are the most powerful people. But we got to take back what God gave us. And we will never take it back. South Africa will never be what South Africa is supposed to be until you become what you're supposed to be. It's okay to have fun, but there's a time to play and there's a time to get serious. There's a time to have fun, and there's a time to fight. When apartheid fell in 1994, I watched it on the television in America. I was happy. I said, my brothers and sisters in South Africa, they finally going to get their freedom. Only to find out years later that it wasn't a real freedom. It was a mockery of freedom. Right now, the gold of South Africa don't belong to us. Right now, the diamonds of South Africa don't belong to us. Right now, the minerals of South Africa don't belong to us. But one of you in here will be the next Steve Biko. One of you in here will be the next Chris Hani. One of you in here will be the next Robert Sobukwe. You got to be. Because it's not enough to just go to college and get a good job and get a nice house and drive a nice car. It's not enough. God didn't put you here to have fun. God put you here to make this world better than the one you entered. I'm going to close with a quote. My ancestor, Frederick Douglass. Some of you may know the name. He's the greatest black leader in American African history. My family was brought to America in 1701. A black man stolen from Nigeria. His name was Bailey. Put on a slave ship and brought to Maryland. He married a black woman named Selah, for whom my youngest daughter is named. In 1745, they had Grandma Jenny. In 1774, they had my Grandma Betsy, born a slave on the Lloyd plantation in Maryland. A slave had no rights. We were not even considered people during American slavery. And so Grandma Betsy married a free black man, Grandpa Isaac. They had 12 children. One daughter was named Betsy, another daughter was named Harriet. These two sisters were raped by the white man who owned my family. In February of 1818, Aunt Harriet gave birth to the greatest black leader in American history, Frederick Douglass. But he was born Frederick Bailey. Cousin Fred ran away from slavery at the age of 20 in 1818 and changed his name from Fred Bailey to Frederick Douglass. My grandfather Stephen was born the next year, the product of a rape. He married my grandmother Caroline on the slave plantation. They had my 3 times great-grandfather George Washington Bailey on November the 14th, 1841. Grandpa George fought in the American Civil War. He married Grandma Annie. They had Grandma Caroline. She moved to Philadelphia. She had Grandma Vivian. Grandma Vivian married a Spanish-speaking Afro-Cuban from Havana, Cuba, my great-grandfather Cicero. They had my Grandma Ida, who died 5 years ago. She met and married James Johnson. They had my father Jamal. He met and married Barbara. And on August the 21st in North Philadelphia, I was born. Frederick Douglass said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess the faith of freedom, but deprecate agitation, are men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want the rain, but they're scared of the thunder or the lightning. They want ocean, but they're scared of the awful roar of the waves. Frederick Douglass said, the struggle we have as African people might be moral, or it might be physical, or it might be both moral and physical, but it must be a struggle. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. Frederick Douglass said, for 20 years, I prayed on my knees to God for freedom. The good Lord gave me no freedom until I got up off my knees and started praying with my feet. He said, you want respect from the white man? Why do you look for pity? The man who pities you will never respect you, and the man who respects you has no need for pity. Brothers and sisters, I'm here to tell you that I expect nothing but greatness from each and every one of you. When I come back to South Africa, years from now, and you're 21 and 25 and 30, and you stop me on the street and say, Dr. Umar, I remember you came and spoke to me when I was in 11th grade. And I say, what are you doing with yourself? I want to hear I just got married. I want to hear I just earned my degree. I want to hear I'm opening my own business. I want to hear I'm finishing up med school. I want to hear I'm organizing South Africa for a real liberation, not the fake one they gave us in '94. I want to hear real stuff. I don't want to hear I'm homeless. I don't want to hear I'm hungry. I don't want to hear I just came out of jail. I want to hear that I am using the blessing of life that God gave me to make everybody else's life better. The future belongs to you. The only question, what are you going to do with it? Thank you, brothers and sisters.